One thing I want to say before we start this video, I would really appreciate it if you have a second to go to blipshift.com/Hooniverse. We have t-shirts, we have new t-shirts coming out, we have stickers, all of that stuff helps support the channel. And if you have a few buckaroos to spare, I'd really appreciate it. Oh, and if you're not subscribed, why don't you go ahead and do that now? Thank you. On to the video. Blah. I'm gonna talk loud because I'm not using my lav mic because I don't feel like it. You get to hear all the squeaking of the top and the engine noise and the trail noise. And I am excited right now because I drove to a trail which is normally a stubby version of a trail that used to be open and has been closed for years because of a fire a long time ago in Lake Elsinore, California. However, I drove to the end of the road where the gate has been shut forever and it was open. The road to Holy Jim is open. This is awesome. This is one of my favorite local trails in the area just because it kind of winds through the base of the Saddleback Mountain Peak Range. It's very scenic right now. There hasn't been anybody on it because it's been closed, but other people know it's open because I've seen 3 other vehicles go by and this is midweek. So this is great to see. This connects with other trails in the system. I'm curious the shape that this is in. I don't remember this paved part right here, but these guardrails all look new, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Let me back up. What the hell are we doing? This is a Ford Bronco. We're finally getting our hands on the new Bronco, the new off-road beast of a machine, and I am very happy to report right out of the gate that it is wonderful. I love this thing, and I'm driving a version that I would not buy. So it's really good to see this. This is a very heavily loaded 2-door Badlands, but it does have the 2.3, the smaller engine, the 4-cylinder turbo, and the manual gearbox. Now this is a unique manual gearbox, but we'll get to the powertrain and all that stuff in a second. First, I want to talk about the outside of this thing because quite frankly, Ford absolutely nailed it with the design. It is retro done right. You know what you're looking at right away when you see it. All of the touch, it's a Bronco made modern, and that is just a glorious thing. Over the weekend, the past weekend, I went with my buddy Derek, who has a 68 Bronco with a 351 under the hood. We went to almost to the top of Saddleback Peak. I brought my daughter along, and the 2 trucks just looked great, parked next to each other, driving up in the dust, thumbs up from everybody else going the opposite direction to see Broncos new and old. And you could, I mean, it's clearly, you're able to see where the designers took their styling from. I mean, it's obvious. It's a silly thing to even say. This is the Bronco made modern, the original Bronco made modern, and it works well. Now, I am a long wheelbase 4-door person. I know a lot of people out there prefer the 2 doors. I think this does look cool though. I think this looks cooler than the 2-door Defender, whereas I still prefer the 110 over the 90 with respect to the Defender. But this 2-door Bronco looks awesome. I still really like the way the 4-door looks. If I were buying one, I would buy a 4-door, and I'd either go with the base, or if I was gonna drop a lot of coin, I'd get to a wild track. But again, we'll get to that bit in a minute. Now, exterior, awesome. This is a Badlands trim, so it's near the top of what you can spend in the trim walk. The only thing higher is basically a first edition, which I don't even think you can get anymore. So, this comes stock with 33-inch tires, KO2s, beefy boy tires. You can upgrade to the Sasquatch package, which then jumps you to Insano 35s. Oddly enough, you also then jump to Goodyear Wranglers, which is kind of funny. I don't know why. Maybe they don't make the KO2 in the size for this, but I doubt that. I don't know why they wouldn't just stick with the KO2, especially because they had to go to the effort working with Goodyear to strip the Wrangler name off those tires just because they didn't want the Jeep Association, which is petty. But but also hilarious. Outside, awesome. The red looks great. The trail sights are kind of cool in a flashbacky, gimmicky way. It's kind of neat to see. You could put limb risers, attach those. They do have, actually, there's a load weight limit on those, so you could put some weight on them. It's 150 pounds. So if you're stupid, you could put a high lift jack there and then make it impossible or difficult to open your hood all the time to carry a piece of equipment that you're never going to use. Let's see. On the inside, Ford really nailed the cabin too. The inside feels nice and premium. It's wider inside than a Wrangler, so there's a little bit more room. Backseat legroom on this two-door, I'm happy to report, is also excellent. And it doesn't really sacrifice cargo space. There's still good cargo space back there. Even if the door itself to open, it opens really wide. So if you're parking this in your garage, just you know how you're parking it if you're gonna open and use that door back there or not. This one has the larger 12-inch screen. The screen looks great, and since I'm in a Baja mode, it has a forward-looking camera that's really big and easy to see what's going on up front, which is, you know, helpful and appreciated. Now, in terms of actual running gear, I said we're dealing with the smaller engine version. This is a 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making with premium fuel, it makes 300 horsepower. You can only get the manual with this one, though. And then being as this is a Badlands, this has a few extra suspension tweaks and bits going on. This comes standard with a unlocking front stabilizer bar. Just press a button and then you can run that way up to speeds up to 20 miles an hour. Off-road, it is supremely comfortable. It is supremely capable. This one with the manual gearbox gets the crawler gear, which I'm sure you've heard about, which extends the crawl ratio to, you know, extremely high numbers. And then this one being the Badlands, standard with front and rear lockers. It's all push button right up here. You also have the drive mode selector with the various GOAT modes, and it's easy to do 2 high, 4 auto, and 4 low, all that stuff. It is all easily accessible. Everything works well. This is a well-engineered, well-made vehicle. Now, it is not a cheap vehicle, nor should it be for what it is capable of doing, and especially when you compare it to what the Wranglers cost these days. A Jeep Wrangler there's affordable versions, but it's very easy to spend a lot of money on those very quickly. The same is true with the Bronco. There's a version that's 30 grand, and then every other version you're gonna see on the road is between 40 and 60. This one, as tested, is an eye-watering 52, because as I said, it's a Badlands. It does not have Sasquatch though, but it has the upgraded interior bits, and you know, you go from there, and it has the nice sound system, B&O sound system that actually sounds really good. It's on a daily basis, it is a very nice, livable truck without being crazy. These leather seats are very comfortable. It's very nice in here. There are parts where it feels more plasticky compared to a Wrangler, which is, you know, kind of interesting, but it gets the job done. It works well. It's very nice inside. It's comfortable. It looks good. I'm happy to report that everything you were hoping about the Bronco is how it is. Where it separates itself from the Wrangler is they're both incredibly capable, beloved machines off-road for a reason. On-road, this thing smokes the Wrangler. It is just a more comfortable experience driving on-road. The steering feel is better and tighter. The available engines are more entertaining and they're just better engines. Both this 4-cylinder and the V6, the V6 actually rips really nicely. So if I'm spending money in this space, I get it that there's, you know, Jeep has been an icon of the off-road world for decades for good reason, and they are still incredibly capable, really good machines. I'm big fans of them. I really like the Mojave, and then, you know, there's nothing the Bronco has yet that can touch the 392 because that thing's bananas. But just regular, you know, Wranglers to regular Broncos, I'm taking the Bronco all day, every day. This thing is fantastic. It's really good. It lives up to all the expectations, and that makes me really happy to say, and I'm hoping it makes you happy to hear. The downsides, I've got to talk about them because there are some downsides. Well, price is a big one, but one of the things I don't love in this gauge cluster is that the tack is a vertical bar, and it's just not big enough. I want a bigger view of the tachometer, and I don't think there's a way to get that. I would love to be proven wrong there, and it's possible I am wrong, but I just would love, I'm gonna go through the menu live action. No, you can do pitch and roll, power distribution, all that stuff, but none of that changes the tack. I just want to see a larger tachometer, and that is not something that it's gonna do. It has an inclinometer, which is cool. You know, as a Montero fan, Gen 1 Montero, you gotta love the inclinometer. And then everything else is good to go. This is a great truck. I really like it. If you are waiting for one and it's coming, hold the line. Oh, the other downside, this top is junk. Ford knows it. People have bought these. Just cruising around town is totally fine. On the highway, the wind noise is insane. I've heard that the soft top is quieter, and I believe it, and I think it has to, a lot of it has to comes down to the many seams in the various panels. Those are gonna catch wind and just exacerbate the wind noise, and it's laughable how much noise this is out on the freeway or up to freeway speeds. Everything else, the top, the tack, the price, everything else is great. If you're thinking about getting one or you're waiting, do it. You will be happy. You will love it. The Ford Bronco is awesome. And what the hell's the torque? I will overdub the torque because I totally forget the torque figure. It makes la 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 la.